Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Our chapter is transportation of materials in living things. We're still discussing about the blood vessels. So far in a previous video, we saw the three kinds of blood vessels: the arteries, the veins, and the capillaries. So we discussed them using the label diagrams. So today, let's discuss. First, we'll see the adaptations of these blood vessels to their functions. So we'll see a table that display these kinds of the blood vessels, how they are adapted to their functions. So here's the table. In this column, we have the blood vessel, then we have the function of each of these blood vessels and how they are adapted to their functions. So starting with the first one, the artery. The arteries, we know that their function that it carries blood away from the heart at high pressure. Now, how do they carry out this activity? So the adaptation is that they have these thick elastic muscular muscles just to withstand this pressure and to exert force, that is the pulse. So that's the first blood vessel, how it functions and how it is adapted to its function. Then we have the veins. The veins, their function is that they help to return the low pressure blood to the heart. Now, how they adapted is that they have these large diameters just to offer least flow resistance, and the valves are there just to prevent the backflow. So that's how the veins they adapted to carrying the low pressure blood to the heart. Then we have the capillaries. Their functions is just that to allow the exchange of the materials between the blood and the tissues. Now, how they are adapted to their function, that they have these thin permeable walls. So those walls are the ones that enable them to carry their function, that is exchange the materials between the blood and the tissues. So that's just briefly on how these various blood vessels they adapted to their functions. Now, let's see the differences between all of these blood vessels, the arteries, veins, and the capillaries. So also there will have the table displaying these kinds of blood vessels with their differences. So here we have the table of three columns: the arteries, the veins, and the capillaries. So in terms of the arteries, all arteries they carry blood away from the heart, while the veins they are the ones that carry the blood towards the heart. So that's the first difference in terms of these two. Then in terms of capillaries, comparing or just differentiating them to all others, these other two vessels, the capillaries they just carry blood from the arteries to the veins. So you can differentiate these three blood vessels in terms of their function in this way. Then arteries they have this kind of exception of the pulmonary artery, that all arteries they carry oxygenated blood, while in terms of the veins, with all exceptions to this pulmonary vein, all veins they carry deoxygenated blood. And in terms of the blood capillaries, they simply they are the ones that they carry the blood that slowly loses its oxygen. So that's how these three blood vessels they differentiate in this kind of other way. Then arteries they carry blood which is usually rich in digested food materials, or in terms of the veins, except for the hepatic portal vein, they carry blood which is usually has little digested food materials. And the capillaries are the ones that they carry the blood that slowly it loses its food components. Then the other differences is that arteries they have relatively narrow lumens, as the diagrams which we displayed in the previous session. Then in terms of the veins, they have relatively wide lumens, the same as you can refer to the previous session we displayed with the clearly labeled diagrams, and you can see how they differentiate in that kind of a way. Then in terms of the capillaries also, they have relatively narrow lumens, so that's how it is. Now also the arteries they have relatively a thick layer of the muscles and elastic fibers, while veins also they have a relatively thin layer. So there's the difference in terms of muscles and the elastic fibers. arteries they've thick layer, while the veins they've thin layer of these muscles and the elastic fibers, while the capillaries they just do not have the muscles and the elastic fibers. Then the arteries they've thick outer walls, veins they have thin outer walls, and the capillaries the walls are just only one cell thick. In terms of the arteries also, they carry blood at high pressure, while veins they carry blood at low pressure, and capillaries they just carry the blood in a way that the pressure falls gradually as blood flows from arteries to the veins. Also, arteries they do not have valves except for the same lunar valves of the pulmonary artery and the aorta, while the veins they have these valves throughout the main veins of the blood, of the body to the just to prevent the backflow of the blood. And also in terms of the capillaries, they just have no valves, so that's how they differentiate in terms of the presence of the valves. Then the arteries they've bright red blood because it is rich in oxygen, while veins they have, or they just carry this brown red blood, and the same goes to capillaries, they carry this brown red blood. Then the arteries they just located deep into the body surface, while the veins they are located near to the body surface, and the capillaries are just found inside of all the tissues. Then the arteries, the walls are just not permeable. The walls of the veins are also not permeable, while the walls of the capillaries are just permeable. In terms of permeable means that they can the permeability means the walls can allow material, or they cannot allow material to pass through them. So when you mean when you say about the arteries and the veins, it means their walls are just not permeable, they do not allow other materials to flow across, while the capillaries they are just permeable. They have these permeable walls just to permit some of the materials to go through. So that's all I have for this session of the Scraven. We've discussed the blood vessels. We've seen how they adapted to their functions, uh, and then we've later on seen the various differences of the three blood vessels: the arteries, veins, and the capillaries. So that's clear, and thank you.